Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be continuing with our Battle Blankenfelde General d'Armée 2 battle report, which is part of the ongoing 1813 What If campaign that is being hosted by Steve over at Basement 1908. I've just got back from CanCon, so I've been away for best part of three days now. So now I'm ready to get back into it. Before I do though, I'll just give you a bit more of a operational overview of what's going on. If you just look up here, you'll see a map of the battlefields of Grossbeeren and Blankenfelde, and you'll see that the battlefield that I am on, which is to the east or the right flank of Steve's battle, which is going on over at Grossbeeren, the maps are kind of like in a position like this, and they're not actually physically touching each other. Just in case you have the impression that the tables are actually side by side and we're easily be able to move troops from one table to another, or shoot from my table onto Steve's table, or from Steve's table shoot onto my table, that's not the case. These are two separate core actions. So there's a battle at Blankenfelde, and the Prussians there are trying to prevent the French forces from breaking through and then enveloping or rolling in onto the Prussian eastern flank or left flank. So this is the French right flank. Depending on the troops and the troop type, to get troops from one table to another can take anywhere from 1 to 3 game turns, so half an hour to an hour and a half, and that's due to a whole bunch of funky logistics issues, and it's determined by just a random dice roll to see how quickly they can get there. And the reason I mention this is because in the comment section there has been a suggestion by one interested observer, and I actually thought about it myself as well, so great minds think alike, was disengaging Prussian troops from this table at Blankenfelde and moving them to assist the Prussian coalition forces that are fighting over at Grossbeeren. I'll show you the table shortly, and you can see why that might be problematic. The other thing is the Prussians have committed all their troops that they have on this in this call have been committed to the fight, so they're on the table now. So they would have to pull troops off the table, then move them onto Steve's table, and then commit them. And the only ones I can see that could reasonably do that, it would be the 3rd Division, the 3rd Brigade of the 11th Division, which has only just marched onto the table here. So it'd be greatcoats on, greatcoats off, march off over to there. The other problem, of course, is by doing that, that would leave the Prussians on this table incredibly vulnerable, because there is still an entire French division. They're actually predominantly Italians. The 29th Division is yet to be committed, and there's also a Saxon Heavy Cavalry Brigade that consists of 2 heavy regiments of Saxon cavalry, and I think the other one might be either Württembergers or Hesse-Darmstadt or French. I just can't remember. But anyway, 3 heavy cavalry regiments plus a horse artillery battery to be committed here as well. That's assuming they are committed here. They might actually already be on their way to help out with the fight at Grossbeeren. The French Heavy Cavalry Brigade that was part of this corps has been dispatched to do that, and should be arriving on the table, on Steve's table as we speak. And they consist of 2 regiments of French cuirassiers and a regiment of French carabineers, together with a horse artillery battery. So with all that said, let's now get straight back into this battle. It's now turn 9. It is 1300 hours on, I think the date is the 28th of August, 1813. So let's crack on with it. Okay, so let's have a look, a bit of a revisit of the battlefield, where we're at. We'll start with the French left flank, and we'll work our way across. So what we have here is we have the 20th Division, the 1st Brigade is just here, and then we have the 2nd Brigade here, unit in line, and then 3 columns, 1 up, 2 back. We have the 2nd Brigade, the 3rd Brigade, which consists of these Anhalt and Vosberg units. They have attached artillery, regimental artillery. These guys have attached regimental artillery. Only 1 shot left with them. 2 shots for the 3rd battery of regimental artillery, which is attached to this brigade here, the 1st Brigade. So we have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. This is the brigade skirmish line of what's left of it. It's actually the 4th Battalion, the Württemberg Jaegers. They broke into skirmish order. They reinforced the skirmish line, brigade skirmish line. So that is a brigade skirmish line there. Then we have the 22nd Division, and they have 2 brigades. One here, they have a horse artillery battery that's galloping up, redeploying from this position here. And then we have their their 2nd Infantry Brigade, which is this battalion here, and these three battalions here, and they have 2 artillery batteries attached to them, and they are here. Finally, over here we have the 29th Division. These are predominantly Saxons and Poles. This 1st Brigade has 4 battalions of Saxons, and this 2nd Brigade has a battalion of Poles and 2 battalions of Saxon Line and a battalion of Saxon Light. That's their brigade skirmish screen there. That's the brigade skirmish screen from their 1st Brigade. The 1st Brigade has an attached Polish foot artillery battery, and they have a Polish horse artillery battery that's also redeploying. So that is the French deployment as it is at the beginning of turn 9. We'll have a look at the Prussians now. Okay, so let's look at the deployment for the Prussians now. We'll start with their 12th Division, which consists of this brigade here, consisting of this battery, this battalion of reservists, Fusiliers in the woods, and then these 2 battalions here, and there's their brigade skirmish screen. So that's the 1st Brigade of the 12th Division. 2nd Brigade, this Russian horse artillery battery, these 2 battalions here, the Fusiliers in the woods, and the Landwehr in the eastern side of Blankenfelde. Then divisional headquarters, corps headquarters, and now we come to the 11th Division. The 11th Division is the largest division. Oh, I should add, that's the brigade skirmish screen from this 2nd Brigade of the 12th Division. 11th Division. Let's talk about the 11th Division. This is the largest of the Prussian divisions. It has 3 brigades. Their 1st Brigade was up, well, is still up here, but it's much depleted. They've lost their battery, and they lost a reserve battalion from here. So they're now faltering. They have these 2 battalions here, plus this battalion of Fusiliers. And that's the 1st Brigade. The 2nd Brigade consists of this garrison, plus this battalion here, these Fusiliers, and this battalion. And obviously this battery. Their 3rd Brigade is this brigade here of Russians, and they're coming onto the table. They've just arrived, and they have 2 batteries of artillery attached. And this is the brigade skirmish screen from the 3rd Brigade, the Russian brigade. So that's 11th Division in all its glory. 13th Division. Okay, so what we have here is again, they're depleted somewhat as well. They did have a artillery battery here, which they've lost. They did have a Fusilier battalion in the woods that was destroyed. So they now are reduced to simply this Landwehr battalion, this reservist battalion, and this Russian battalion here. And that's what's left of their brigade skirmish screen, just in here. And then finally, the 2nd Brigade of the 13th Division, pretty much completely untouched. They have this brigade skirmish line and this battery here with a single hit on it. These 3 battalions here, and a battalion in Dittersdorf, which is the extreme left of the French line, extreme right of the Prussian. And so this is where the Prussians sit. And so now let's talk about plans for going forward. Okay, so plans for the coalition troops, the Prussians in particular. Dyson Bayonets has made a suggestion. Pretty much the only one that has made a suggestion, so that's what we're going to go with. And his suggestion is to pressure with the 3rd Brigade of the 11th Division against the Swiss, and bolster the faltering brigade. Now, which faltering brigade? There's this one and this one, there's two. I'm going to assume what he meant by attacking through here is going to support both of the faltering brigades, but we shall see. It's a pretty bold plan, because this is the most battered brigade of the French and her allies, but it should be remembered there is still a heavy cavalry brigade and an entire infantry division yet to come on for the French. So it could be it could end up backfiring badly. So that's what the Prussians are going to attempt to do. However, that all depends on what happens in this turn when we roll for these two brigades either side of this position in here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to roll for corps orders and ADC availability. Corps orders for the French using this oh so nice Battlefields Accessories dice tower. I've got 2 of these at CanCon for hosting a game, so that's nice. And the French have got all 3. They've got red, white, and blue. They do have a corps adjutant, but this was a 2 that they rolled, so they can't use that, which is disappointing for the French. Now for the Prussians, they've got the black and the white, and they've missed out on the red and blue. Now we're going to roll for ADC availability. We'll go with the French first. It's red, orange, and black. All right. 2. None of the black. Absolutely not a single ADC on the black. A double 6 for the orange, so they're going to get 4. So it's 4, 3, and none for Polish and the Saxons, which I think they're going to have to use their chief of staff. So they'll go with chief of staff. So they'll get 2 automatically, and then they'll re-roll all those that they missed, which was all of them. And they've got another 2, so they're going to have 4 all up. But they have burnt through their chief of staff order. So now we're going to roll for the Prussians. And their dice coloured are grey, green, and white. Two of the grey. All 4 of the green, but there's a double 6, so they're going to have 5. And 3 white. I've allocated all the CNC or corps orders and all the ADC taskings, CNC taskings, etc. So we'll start from the French. We'll start with the 20th Division. Their 3 ADCs are a re-roll for this 1st Brigade, a re-roll for the 2nd Brigade, and their bold brigade here, infantry assault. The core ADC, for the core, we're using it over here, and we're giving glory to the 2nd Brigade. Then we go across to the 22nd Division. And they've got their 3 ADC taskings. They've gone re-roll, skirmish, and a re-roll. And then if we move down now to the 29th Division, the Poles and Saxons, they've got 4 ADCs. They've gone skirmish and re-roll for their 2nd Brigade. For their 1st Brigade, they've gone artillery assault, and he's bold. And that's all they're doing. For the Prussians, for the 12th Division, they've got 2 ADCs. They're putting them both over here with their 1st Brigade with artillery assault, and they've also pitched in a caisson. because they're on 5 casualties, and they're on 5 casualties. The only way I can do artillery assault is if they get a case on. Nothing for this brigade. Now they had 5 ADCs over here, but they lose one straight away to shore up divisional morale, so that leaves them 4. They've used 2 to go stand with me, so this faltering brigade will automatically obey orders. They also used 1 over here for redeploy. A redeploy order, because if they're going to cross this center line, they need a redeploy order. So they've been given redeploy, and he's bold, and they've just given a re-roll to this brigade in the rear here. Now there were 3 ADCs here for the 13th Division. They lose 1 automatically to shore up divisional morale. They can't use stand with me because they've already used that once, so they don't have it. So they're just going to give a re-roll to this faltering brigade and a re-roll to the poor brigade on the extreme right or French left. That's all the ADC taskings, CNC taskings and the like. So with that done, let's roll for them and see what happens. So we're going to start over here. A re-roll for the 1st Brigade. I'll need it. 5, they've passed. A re-roll for the 2nd Brigade, they've passed. And this bold guy with infantry assault, he has passed. 22nd Division now. The skirmish tasking with a re-roll, and he's fine. And just a re-roll over here, and he's fine. So now we move all the way over to the 29th Division. Re-roll with skirmish, they're fine. And this guy is bold, going for the artillery assault. That one's cocked. And he has gone hesitant. Re-roll here. Oh no re-roll, just straight up artillery assault. He's fine. This brigade here, hesitant. They're obeying orders. A redeploy order for the bold guy, and he is good. A re-roll for the 3rd Brigade, they're going to need it, and they've gone hesitant. This is where it gets interesting. Faltering, we'll do the poor guy first for the re-roll, and he's good. Now this brigade here is, I've got a re-roll on the faltering brigade table, so we'll roll for them first. 3. Okay, for a reservist, that is a wavering. Let's see if he can do better. And he has rallied to hesitant. So 1 hesitant brigade, 2 hesitant brigades, 3 hesitant brigades. So the Prussians will be rolling 3 dice and taking the lower 2. The French will be rolling 2 dice and taking what they get. The lower 2 is 7. 7 plays 7. I'll have to look to see who had the initiative on the last turn, because they will have the initiative for this turn. So the French had the initiative in turn 8. So here in turn 9, the French have the initiative again. So charge declarations, we do the French first. Infantry assault, these guys are charging out towards these chaps there. Now they're all, the brigade, everyone is supporting. So if the Anhalt battalion is leading the push, and they are, half movement through this cruddy terrain, 4.5, they're going to easily strike them. So you're going to charge, stop 3 inches short, and then these guys will deliver a single CD volley at the leading charging unit. They've rolled a 4, so they get a single hit on them, which is not enough to cause a morale check, a discipline check or anything like that. And it's not enough to bump them down. So now we'll do the charge resolution. These guys are line, these guys here are reservist. So it's 2 dice each, but these guys are going to have, they're going to have 1 re-roll here and 1 re-roll here. Now I should add that these guys here can deliver a shot as well. Worst case is you're going to get another single hit, so it doesn't make any difference. And they don't get it anyway, a 5, 3, and a 1. So it's still only 1 casualty on these guys. So the red will be the French, and the black will be the Prussians. Okay,
It's a 6 and a 2 for the French and a 2 and a 1 for the Prussians. The Prussians have got no re-rolls at all to help them out. None. No one's within 3 inches. The French can re-roll the 2, and they will. And they've got a 2. They're going to take another re-roll. And it's 6. It's 12. That's a victory of 6 versus 3. That's a well past the +6 result. So they'll inflict 6 CDs on these. Take the ground, recover 1 casualty. These guys retreat. They'll take their 6 CDs now. 1, 2, 3. That's another 4 hits. That takes them up to 7. 7 casualties, and then they go back. These guys take the ground and then charge on. So we'll do that now. These guys retreated 6 inches. They're back there. They unformed these guys because they were at the 5-inch mark behind them. So they're within 6, so that unforms them as they burst through. They've charged on from here 9 inches. They had plenty to spare. They've crashed into these guys. Fight with alarm, and these guys will be unformed. These guys can move up to support distance, but they cannot fight. They've stopped 3 inches short of these guys. These guys are going to have to diddy mow out of the way, give ground. So they'll probably bow back like this, because the last thing I want to do is unmask. Silly. They don't want to mask their own guns. Okay, so that's that infantry assault. I'll just check to see if there's any other charges anywhere. As fate would have it, there is one. So these French in here are going to charge those chaps in there. Well, the light infantry, as these Frenchmen come forward, they'll fire 5 dice, but they lose 1 because of the cover. So 4, and they get 3 hits, which will be 1 casualty, which will take these guys up to 3, but it's not enough to alter anything on the charge table. These guys here could shoot at them, and they might as well. So that's going to be 2, but it'll be inferior because they are in cover. So they'll fire in support. 6 inferior will be 1 hit. So that will take them up to 4 casualties. But again, that's only a grand total of 2. Again, not enough to make an to alter the charge at all. So it's going to be 2 dice. 2 dice. Neither side have supports. It won't be 2 dice at all. These guys are in skirmish order, so they will automatically just flee back. They will suffer 1 CD hit as they go. Will they take a casualty? 5. Yep, they inflict the hit on those chaps. That will make them worn, and they go back 18 inches, which will place them back behind. Well, they'll go back this way. Probably, if they go that way, I'll figure out where they're going to go. Well, that's all the evading and whatnot done. These Fusiliers are back here unformed with their 6 casualties. They're worn now. These Frenchmen are now right on the edge of the woods. That's all the charges done for the French. Let's have a look to see if there are any for the Prussians. Looking across the battlefield now. Any charges from either side now? No. So now we're going to go on with movement. Let's look at the movement for the French. For the 20th Division, these guys have advanced, as have these 2 battalions here. This battalion retired to the 2nd line, so it's marked with a retreat marker. We've already done these chaps. The brigade skirmish line for the German brigade has moved up into the woods. The skirmish task in here was to break up the light infantry battalion, and they put them into the line. So they had 2 bases. They came up 12 inches. Then the battalion dispersed into skirmish order. So they get 3 bases plus 1 because they are light. So that's these guys taken care of, and their battery has moved up and is getting ready here. And in the next turn, they'll unlimber. Over here, these battalions have advanced, not far, but a bit. They've advanced a bit. These batteries have done nothing. the Polish horse artillery came up and unlimbered. They're there. These guys have advanced in line. The column has moved up into sort of like a l'ordre de mix, and the skirmish screens from both brigades of the 29th Division have linked up. So obviously they're slightly apart, but they're there. And that's all the movement. I do have to advance these guys, and they'll be moving into here. But other than that, that's all the movement for the French. So we'll go do the Prussian and Russian movement now. For the Prussian movement, this brigade skirmish line was only 3 bases strong. They've got the initiative, they'll fire first. They've got 2 large skirmish lines with skirmish tasking in front of them. It's not worth keeping them out there. They could well get blown away, and that would fault the brigade, so they've withdrawn. Other than that, nothing else is going on in this brigade here. For this brigade, they're remaining where they are to provide re-support for these chaps. These guys have sidestepped, facing off against these. The brigade skirmish line has come across, and this single battalion is not prepared to go forward by itself, completely unsupported, so it's just waiting there at the moment. This Russian brigade is hesitant, nothing going on there. Again, hesitant, so these guys couldn't move. These guys are fighting for their lives. These guys have just suffered a retreat. So that takes us to the 2nd Brigade, the 13th Division. They have basically reoriented to face the threat that's coming through to their front, as have these. This battalion that was up here has done a retire to the 2nd line. They've come back here, and this brigade skirmish line is basically trying to cover the retrograde movements by the 2nd Brigade, 13th Division. So that's all the movement. So now we will go into shooting. Okay, so we'll start with the skirmishing, and it'll be this skirmish line here firing at that battery. They had a skirmish task, but that was to form a skirmish line, so they don't get extra dice now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 hits on the battery. Next we have the skirmish lines down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'll be shooting at the battery, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll be shooting at the line. Red dice and black dice. Okay. Well, they've got the skirmish tasking, so that's going to be a disadvantage, but they've also got 5 hits there. So 1 on the battalion, 2 casualties on the battery. The battery will have to do a discipline test. Let's see how they hold up. 7, they've passed. Just. That's all the French skirmishing, so now we go to the Prussians and Russians. They've got a battalion in here. They will be shooting, they could shoot at these guys here, and they probably will. So the guys in here will shoot at them, and the guys here will shoot at that column. Right. So we'll do the firing from here. We'll use the red dice. They're obviously using the black. So the red dice get 3 hits, which is 1. Which is enough to take a base off these guys. And the black dice got 2 hits on these guys. That'll make them worn. Okay, so the next lot of skirmishing would be from these guys here, shooting at them. It's 4 bases, so that's 5 dice, but these guys are in woods, so they'll go back down to 4. 2 hits, 1 casualty. Now the final lot of skirmishes, which will be these 4 bases. That's 5 dice. They could shoot at them, or they could shoot at them. They're closer. They'll shoot at these guys here. 5 dice. Oh, not a single hit. Artillery now. So these batteries here, all of them, are going to fire at the skirmish line. It's within 2 foot, so it's not going to be, it's that effective, so it's going to be 2 dice inferior, because the skirmishes, 2 dice inferior skirmishes, and a single CD from the poles. So it'll be red, black, and green. Right, no hit, or yeah, no hit. That's going to be 2 and a discipline, and that's another one. So that's a base off, and they'll have to do a discipline test, and they pass. Now this battery is shooting at them. So that's going to be 1 hit, which will take these guys up to 1. Now here's the predicament. I think I've got this right. This battery had 5 casualties, but they brought a case on up so that it would permit them to do artillery assault regardless. However, they're now on 6 casualties because of that fire. That doesn't prevent them doing the artillery assault. They can still do that. However, they will be firing as an inferior battery. And there is a greater chance of going low on ammo and all that other good stuff. So I think that's right. I think they'll still get their artillery assault fire. If they'd gone unformed, that would be a different story, but yeah, so they'll still be able to do artillery assault. So with that, we'll go straight into the Prussian firing now. You guys are going to get an awful lot of dice. They're going to get the black dice for the battery, the red dice for the artillery assault, the small orange dice for the canister. They're going to get a green dice because they're shooting at a column, and they'll get a blue dice for the bounce through. Ouch. That's going to hurt. That's a hit. That's a hit. That's a miss, 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 and a bounce through hit. So that is going to be 11, which is a 10 plus. Inferior battery is 2, 3, 4. So 4 here. That'll take them up to 7. And a bounce through here will give them another 1, so they'll be on 2. So they're on 2 now. And these guys have to do a discipline test. So we might as well do that right now. Line in column, but they're testing as recruits. 7. They'll go unformed. The next battery along is this Russian horse artillery battery, and they're going to shoot at these guys. Black is the battery. So an inferior 4 has hurt themselves, but they did 1 hit. So it's 1 casualty on the battery and 1 casualty on the skirmish screen. Now the next battery to fire is these guys at those skirmishes. Again, the black dice is the battery. That's better. And that's going to be a base off. Yep, a complete base off. So we'll take that one from there. Of course, that is 9 is 1, and another 2 there. That's 3. So that's a complete base. They're in canister range, so that's going to be a discipline test also for the Swiss. 7, they pass. Now this Russian battery at that French column. Black is the battery, red is the casualty dice, green is the CD for the column, and then we'll do a bounce through as well. So 7, that's a cock dice. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, so 3 hits on them. That'll take them up to 5. And then there's a bounce through into the guys to the rear. No, nothing. So that's a discipline test for these guys, but they have the regimental artillery, so they'll forego the test. There's only 1 volley. The French have got none, but the Prussians here wish to deliver a volley into that skirmish screen. So it's just a standard volley, but it's inferior because they're shooting at skirmishes. 5, inferior volley with a 5. 1 hit on the skirmish screen. We go to the hand-to-hand resolution. It's going to be the Anhalt battalion. They start with 5, but they've got Elan, so they will go up to 6. And the Prussians are at 5, but they're unformed, so they'll go down to 4. So it's going to be 6v4. Prussians will be black. Let's have a look what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 2. That's a win by 2. Okay, so they take the ground. These guys have had to retreat back here. So they retreated from the initial charge, and they've retreated from the combat. That's 2 retreats. So this brigade is yet again faltering. So that ends turn 9, and we move on to turn 10. Now at the start of turn 10, Prussian corps orders. We got none. Not a single one. It's ADC availability. We'll do the Russians first. Right. They've got, for their 13th Division, they've got 2. For their 12th Division, they've got 2. And they've got none. Absolutely none for the 11th Division. Orders for the French. They've got all but the red, and they can only re-roll 1s. So they've got black, white, and blue. For the French now, they've got 2 for the 22nd. They've got all 3 for the 29th, and they've got 2 for the 20th. So if the corps were facing off against one another, that's what it would look like. Well, allocation of ADCs for the Prussians is very easy. For their 12th Division, their 1st Brigade gets a reroll, and their 2nd Brigade gets a reroll. There's absolutely nothing to allocate with the 11th Division because they didn't get any ADCs, which is pretty grim. And then if we go over to the 13th Division, again, very easy. They had 2 ADCs. They're going to lose 1 to divisional headquarters because they have a faltering brigade, and they'll give a re-roll to the faltering brigade, and the 2nd Brigade will get nothing. So that poor chap is on his own. Now let's have a look to see what we're going to do with the ADCs for the French. Okay, so for the French, the 20th Division, they've only got 2 ADCs in here. They're going to give them both to the 2nd Brigade, and they're going to give them forwards without a reroll. So no reroll forwards, and no reroll, but their glory. Over here, let's move along to the other divisions now. So for the other divisions, so the 22nd, no ADCs here at all. For this brigade, they're going infantry assault and a reroll. And then if we go down here, we've got a reroll and skirmish for this 2nd Brigade. And for the 1st Brigade, he's bold, he's going infantry assault. And that's that. The corps orders, the French are going to use their black order because they want to bring on the other division. We're going to roll Nay's die now, the black dice, to see how long it will take for the division and brigade to arrive. Okay, so that is a 2-turn delay. That means that the Italian division, the 21st Division, with the Heavy Cavalry Brigade attached, will arrive on turn 12, at the commencement of turn 12. Just roll, and we'll start from the French right and work our way across. This guy's bold, and he's passed. So he has his infantry assault. This guy has a reroll with skirmish. That's cocked, and he's passed. Then we have infantry assault here with a reroll, and he's passed. This guy's got nothing, so he'll take what he can get, and he's gone hesitant. I'll put a marker on them shortly. Now, the bold fella, I said glory at the start. He's got glory. Now he's bold, So he just rolls 2d6. He takes the higher 2. He's got a 6, so he's okay. This guy's got forward without a reroll. And he's just passed. And this guy's got nothing. And he's gone hesitant. So we have another hesitant brigade. So that's going to be 3 dice that the French are rolling. So now we're rolling for the Prussians. Reroll over there. They'll need it. They've deployed a caisson, by the way. And they've gone hesitant. All right, so no caisson for them. And they're hesitant. Okay. Not a good start for the Prussians. This brigade over here. Reroll. Okay, they're good. So now we're looking at the 13th Division. They've got 3 brigades and no rerolls at all. So, first brigade up front, hesitant. Second brigade in here, fine. And then this brigade in the rear, the Russians, hesitant. Okay, so we've got a hesitant brigade here. We've got a hesitant brigade here. But this one is fine, the bold chap. And then over here, now we're looking at the mess that is 13th Division. We'll do the poor guy first. He's fine. Now this guy here is faltering. And he does have a re-roll. Rallied. Which is good news for him. So if we look down upon the battlefield, what we'll find here is we have a hesitant brigade here for the Prussians. We have 2 hesitant brigades over here and then 1 hesitant brigade way up at the other end. So they've got a grand total of 4 hesitant brigades. So they're going to be rolling 4 dice total. The French, for their part, have 2 hesitant brigades. They have a hesitant brigade just down in here and 1 in the center, just here. So they have 2 hesitant brigades. So it's going to be, the French are going to roll 3 dice. The Prussians are going to roll 4. The French will be red. They take the lower. So they're the lower 2 there, and they're the lower 2 there. And so the French have the initiative. So what we're going to go on with first, straight away, is charge declarations. Now, the French have a forwards here, and they're going to use that to launch one of their battalions charging forward towards this battalion here. So this battalion here is going to try to charge through onto them. It's ballsy, but that's happening. We've got this battalion here who's going to charge these guys over here. Then we have an infantry assault here with 1, 2, 3 battalions charging these guys. And then over here, no charges here, I don't think. We could charge those guys in the woods and drive them out. Hey, why not? They might as well. So they'll charge there. And then in this brigade, we've got an infantry assault. So 1 and 2 are going to be charging this battalion here. They just reach, it's 12 inches. Infantry assault gives an extra 3. Let's start with the charges at this end. So infantry assault here first. They're going to move to the 3-inch mark and then we'll resolve that. So these guys get to here and then they'll deliver a volley in response. They can't get fire support from these guys because this brigade's hesitant and they can only fire in their tram tracks. They can get fire support from these guys. So anyway, let's get that resolved. So there'll be a volley from here with a CD because it's a column at 3 inches plus 5 skirmish dice coming out of the woods there. So the black dice will be the volley, the green dice will be the CD, and the red dice are the skirmishers shooting at them. Okay, a 4 and a 1 and 1, 2. So only 1 casualty. I don't think 4 is anything. An inferior volley on a 4, I think, is fire discipline. Yeah, so they've just lost fire discipline. So just 1 casualty from these skirmishers on these guys. Now we'll do the charge resolution. These guys are going to be rolling 2 dice, neat, nothing going for them. These guys are going to be rolling 2 dice, but they do get a re-roll from the support because they are on infantry assault. The Prussians are black. Okay, so the Prussians have got a 9. The French have got a 5, sorry, the Saxons have got a 5 and a 2. They'll obviously re-roll the 2. And they've got a 6. So it's a victory by a margin of 2. And I'm pretty sure that means they'll close with Elan. They close with Elan, defender unformed. So that's that charge. We have this charge onto these guys there. Actually, I'm not going to do that because it's only 9 inches. They would get to the edge of the woods, but they wouldn't be able to close the well, mind you, these guys are at the edge. Or are they? Yeah, they're back from it. All right. So I was going to launch them as a charge at them, but I don't think I will now. I think it's a bit... I'd have to stretch it a bit because these guys are back from the edge of the woods somewhat, so they won't reach. So we've got the infantry assault further along. The gardeners are here, so I apologise for the noise in the background. We'll do this infantry assault here. All 3 battalions are going forward onto this guy here, and they'll stop at the 3-inch mark, and then the skirmishers and the line will deliver a volley. As before, this will be black dice plus a green at these guys, and there'll be 4 dice coming from them, and they'll be the red ones. Okay, that's a better volley. A 9 is going to be 2 and a discipline test. Okay, so they've got that, but it's not 3 because that hasn't hit. And there is a hit from these guys, but that'll strike these guys there, taking them up to 7. So a discipline test for the French. Eight, they pass, no problem. So that's, now we'll do the charge resolution. So again, the Prussians will be black. The French have 2 re-rolls. The Prussians have 1. All right. So the Prussians can re-roll the 3 because they have a battalion to their rear. Okay. The French can re-roll this twice, so they will. No. 10 versus 10. All right, so they just simply close with them. Now, as Wellington said, this will take careful timing. Now, instead of launching this charge here next, what we're going to do is launch this one. We're going to go forward with these guys, hoping that they can reach them. And by coming in on them, that will cause that battalion there to react to them and shoot at them. That means they won't be able to shoot at these guys as they go in against them. So they've got a forwards tasking. So it's 2d6 plus 6. So that extra 6. So it's 9 plus 6 plus another 9. So that's 18. 25. So they'll reach. So they'll go charging forward. The reservists with the yellow flag back there, they'll deliver their volley. So we'll do that first. And the skirmishers also will have to evade and shoot. So they come charging forward. The skirmishers see them. They deliver 5 shots. Then they have to take a CD themselves. 1, 2, 3 hits. No skirmish tasking, so no discipline test. But that is 1 casualty so far on these guys. So we'll put that to the rear to remind us. But they take a CD at them as they evade back, and they don't suffer anything. So they'll then move out of the way. So now they'll move forward to within 3 inches of these guys. These guys will now deliver their volley into them. So it's going to be a volley with a CD because it's a column at the 3-inch mark. 7 is going. 7 is 2 hits with, but not a discipline test. Because they're not elite shooting, and a green is 1 as well. So it's 4 all up. So they're now 4, 1 from the skirmishers, 3 from the volley, They don't get a volley from these guys because they're in rear support of the battery, and over half of the batteries to their front. Yeah, so no volley from those guys. So they will be rolling 3 dice, taking the lower 2. These guys are going to be taking 2 dice, taking what they get, because they don't have support to their rear, because they're unformed, because they retreated last turn. So now they don't reform until the movement phase, and these guys are being charged by them, so they can't get support from them. Right. This unit, just to be clear, this unit could fire with a single CD at these guys. So maximum 1 casualty wouldn't change anything. And if they did fire, there is always the threat. Well, actually, they're hesitant, so there's no chance of those guys charging in on them. So they might as well just fire 1 CD at these guys. So they'll do that, and they score another hit. So that will take them up to 5. But again, that doesn't change anything substantively. So now we'll do the charge resolution for this unit here. The French are going to be rolling 3 dice, and the Prussians are going to be rolling 2 without any re-rolls. Okay. Usual, the Prussians are the black dice. Okay, lower 2 versus 7. So 7 plays 4, it's a -2. So the French will halt and deliver a single CD volley, if I'm not mistaken. It's a -2. Yeah, halt and volley, lead unit unformed. So a single CD, no hits. Okay, so now we'll move on to the charge. To their right, we have this Anhalt battalion charging those disordered landwehr. So these guys will deliver a single CD volley. No hits. These guys are going forward. They'll have 2 dice. No re-rolls. These guys, 3 dice. So actually, it's 4 dice for these because they've got over 6 casualties, or six or more, and they're unformed. So they're rolling 4, taking the lower 2. These guys are rolling 2, and they're just taking what they get. Okay, it's 6 plays 3. It's a difference of 3. So these guys will close. I think they'll close with the alarm. Just a quick check of the charge here. It's a difference of 3. Oh no, take the ground, defend a retreat, takes 4 CDs. Okay, so they'll retreat, take 4 CDs. And I think there's no formed troops they can form behind. Yeah, so they're going to go back and pop out off table. So that will falter the brigade yet again, and these guys will take the ground. For completeness, I will roll the 4 CDs to see how many hits they get. That's cocked. It's 3 anyway, so that's 10. That wipes them out regardless. So even if they could have somewhere to rally, they won't, because they've been destroyed. That will falter the brigade, but worse than that, that is over 50% of this brigade is gone now, if I'm not mistaken. I will check, but I think this whole brigade will now disperse. If not, they'll be faltering. So anyway, let's have a look. So this brigade has now dispersed. So this division is now classed as combat ineffective. Right. There are no other charge declarations for the French, and there are none for the Prussians at this stage. So what we're going to go on with now is movement, and I'll do all the French movement, then review that, and then we'll go on to Prussian movement. Okay, so movement for the 20th Division. The battalion that was up here did retire to the second line, so they're marked with a retreat marker. They're hesitant, and there's nothing else that they can do. These guys here, they've simply moved up. They've got 25 inches because of their forwards tasking, and these 2 battalions have moved up. This one has simply reformed. The Vosberg battalions, one's moved to the left, one's to move to the right, but more importantly, the brigade skirmish line has moved right up to the edge of and out of the woods to start to posture to start shooting into the Prussians. Okay, so now we have the 22nd Division, the Swiss Brigade. They're hesitant. All they've done is formed a line there and unlimbered this battery and moved these two battalions back somewhat. Brigade skirmish line is staying where it is, so it can pepper away at the Prussians. For the French Brigade, or 2nd Brigade of this division, they have formed line, and that's pretty much it because these guys moved up for the infantry assault. Right, let's go across now to the 29th Division. Their 2nd Brigade is simply advanced towards the woods here. And that's it. That battalion came up, that battalion, that one, they've all just advanced. On this side, these guys are in the infantry assault, they've already moved. These guys have formed line, and the battalion that was here with 7 casualties has done a withdrawal to the second line. They're back here with a retreat marker on it. So that's all the French movement done. Now we will do the Prussian movement. Okay, 12th Division, 1st Brigade, they're hesitant. They're not doing anything. The skirmishers have shot and they were involved in the charge, so they're not going anywhere. I have contemplated limbering up this battery and moving it out, but hey, we're just going to keep it there. As for the 2nd Brigade of the 12th Division, where they are at the moment, nothing's changing. They're just holding, sitting tight. Right, let's move on to the 11th Division. So now we come to the 11th Division. The 1st Brigade is doing nothing. They're just sitting tight there. The brigade, the 2nd Brigade, they have simply brought this brigade skirmish screen across to allow this unit here to volley into the woods, and they'll add their skirmish fire to that. Other than that, they're just sitting pretty. Actually, they'll form a line here because going forward now in the center there is nothing but foolhardy. So they'll form a line. And then this hesitant brigade at the rear, the 3rd Brigade, the Russians, they've thrown their skirmish screen forward while they try to get their house in order here. So now we go to the very battered 13th Division. For the 13th Division, there's only 1 brigade left. The other one has been completely driven off. All they've done is reordered these guys that had retreated previously. So they're now reordered and they're fighting for their life and they're trying to secure the right flank. This is going to be pivotal what goes on in here over the next 2 turns. So that concludes all our movement. So now we're going to go on with skirmish fire. And we're going to have this Württemberg battalion here delivering skirmish fire into this line. And we'll have the Swiss skirmishers here. They'll be shooting at the Prussian battery. So we'll start off with the Württembergers. 6 dice. They're going to shoot at the line, but the first casualty will have to go onto the brigade, the Russian skirmish screen, because it's in arc and in range. So we'll do them first. And that is a hit on the Russian skirmish screen. And now the Swiss, they're going to be shooting at the battery. There's no skirmishers in arc and range of them. So that's all going on the battery. They've got 8 dice. And they've got a double 6. So that's going to cause a dis-1 test. So that's 1 hit, 2 hits, almost 3, but 2. And a dis-1 test for the battery. We might as well do that now and get that out of the way. Oops. Oh, well, 6 plus 1, that would have passed, but yeah, no worries. The next lot of skirmishing is going to be in here, going forward at those guys. They have a skirmish tasking, so that's going to give them a grand total of 6 dice. These guys here, that's 5. They'll use the black dice. They'll shoot at the line. They'll shoot at the battery. Okay, so let's see what kind of results we get. These guys will be black. All right, the black. So these guys here have got 1 casualty on these, and the guys with the skirmish tasking have inflicted 2 casualties on the battery. Now the Russian skirmishers, they're going to shoot at the column, but the first hit's going to have to go on them because they're in arc and range. It's 5 dice. 1 single hit, which is no casualties whatsoever. Moving along to the 11th Brigade. The 11th Division, I said 11th Brigade, 2nd Brigade, 11th Division, their brigade skirmish screen, shooting into the woods. It would normally be 5, but they'll lose 1 because of the cover. Two hits, 1 casualty. That will make these guys worn, which is good news because now they'll only shoot an inferior volley out. There is no other skirmishers because they've all fired. There's no garrisons that can reach out and touch anyone, I don't think, at this point. Or maybe. Garrison here at Dittersdorf, they could fire along here, out through here at them, so I'm going to give them that. It's 5 dice. Wow, that's good shooting. That's 2 hits. That'll take these guys up to 3. Okay, so now we go to artillery. So this battery here firing at them. 9. That will be 2, I think, and a discipline test. Let's have a look. Standard battery 9. Yep, 2 and a DT. So that will take this battery up to 8 casualties, but they've got a retreat result. They roll 4 CDs. If they take 2 hits, they will disperse. And they've taken all 4. So this battery is gone and they are faltering. Right, batteries to shoot. These ones along here. I'm going to do them one at a time. Well, you do anyway, but I'll just roll the dice one at a time. This will be an inferior shot because they're within 2 foot of these and all of these. So it's all effective range at the brigade skirmish line. So they'll shoot, they'll shoot, they'll shoot. When these guys shoot, actually we'll start with these guys. They'll shoot at them. Then if they're still around, they'll shoot at them. And if they're still around, they'll shoot at them. But if miraculously they get blown away, then these guys might shoot at units, other units. So we'll start with this battery here. It's inferior. 5, they did nothing. The next battery along. Oh, okay, 12. That's going to hurt. And it's a roll on the destiny table. So that's 2 casualties on those guys. They'll have to do a discipline test. We'll get the discipline test done first. 3. Okay. They'll go unformed because they test as a brigade skirmish line. So they'll go unformed. And then roll on the destiny table. 9. Artillery recover 1 casualty and the closest unit within 6 inches. Okay, so they've taken their casualty off. And the closest unit within 6 inches suffers 2 extra CDs. Well, the closest enemy unit within 6 inches is actually these guys, but they're in combat. So I don't think I could hit them. So I'm not going to bother. Right. Which leaves this battery here, and they'll shoot. They're going to shoot at, well, they'll shoot at the skirmishers again. Let's rake them. 7. 7 is 1 hit, which will take a base off. So that's a base off these guys. Actually, we'll take it from this end because it might get them out of the 2 foot range. So that's them done. There's no other artillery for the French, so it's just Prussian guns now. So the Russian horse artillery of the 2nd Brigade of the 12th Division, they're going to fire. They'll be shooting canister into these guys here. So the black is the battery, the red is the CDs. That is going to be a self-inflicted wound, but 2 casualties, which will take 1 base off and carry 1 over. onto these guys. But the battery goes up to 6 casualties, so they're worn. So now this Prussian battery here will shoot canister into these guys here. So we'll do the battery first. Oh, 3, they've hurt themselves. Again, this is the shooting by the Prussians this turn has been atrocious. And then the 2 dice worth of canister. Well, 1 hit. So that will take a base off these guys here. Right, moving right along. Now this battery here will fire canister into these guys. So they're going to get black dice will be the battery, the red dice will be the canister, the green dice will be the bonus for a column at effective range, and the blue will be bounced through onto the guys behind them in helmets. Okay, so 5 from the battery. Okay, so that's going to be 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, and no bounce through. So that will take these guys up to 6. They're well worn given all the fighting they've been doing. I ain't surprised. And finally, the Russian battery on the right. And so, situation exactly the same as before. On these guys here, black is the battery. 8. Okay, that might be 2. That's a lot more hits this time. 1, 2, 3, no bounce through. 8. I think that's 2. Or maybe, it might be 1, but it's at least 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. It is 4 all up for these guys. They could do a morale test, but they do have 1 regimental artillery throw of the die, for want of a better word, left. So they won't take the test, and they'll just use up their regimental artillery. So that's it for all the artillery firing. So now we go to volleys. So we have volleys here. These guys are going to shoot at them, and while we're here, we might as well have them shoot back at them. So they're going to trade volleys. Are inferior because the French are worn and the Prussians are shooting into woods. The French will be the red dice. Oh, they murdered one another. Okay, so the French have delivered 6 and they've delivered 5. Both are going to be, I'm pretty sure, 3 with a discipline test for both. 2 and a discipline test for both. The French, they're going to drop to recruit status because they are worn. They'll go unformed. The Prussians, well, they're reservists, so they test as line 4. And they've gone unformed. So both have gone unformed. Now the French get to roll on the Vesti table because they delivered a 12 on their volley. 10. That's good. Falter. High officer casualties throws the opposing enemy brigade into confusion. Brigade falters. Okay, so now the Prussians have an opportunity to turn the tables here. These guys are going to deliver a volley onto them. They already have 1 casualty on them. So if they can get 2 casualties, that will falter the 2nd Brigade of the 29th Division. It's an inferior volley. They've rolled a 5. Well, they'll get 1, but they've come up short by 1. So now we'll resolve this combat. It's 5 versus 4 because these guys, sorry, 6 versus 4. Both start with 5. They're unformed. They have a line, so they gain 1, they lose 1. So it's 6 versus 6v4. The Prussians are black. 2 hits versus 4 hits. So they win, and these guys retreat. They'll take 4 casualties. That will take them up to 7. There's no close order troops for them to rally behind, so they will then disperse because they are worn and, yeah, So that's it. These guys will pick up another 2 hits. That will take them up to 3. They'll take the ground, and these guys are gone. Now we have this close combat to resolve, and that's one is just straight up 5v5. All right, 5 each. Let me think this. So if the Prussians are black. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 2. Okay, so as a result of that hand-to-hand combat, these guys have been driven back, and they're now back here with their 7 casualties, retreat and unformed marker on them. So that ends turn 10. So as we go along the battlefield, what we see is the 13th Division is reduced to 1 brigade. There's a yawning gap where the 1st Brigade of that division was. Then we have the 11th Division. This brigade here under the command of their bold commander is faltering. These guys were hesitant, they're still back here. This brigade here has just had another battalion tumbled back. Then we go across to the 12th Division. Their 2nd Brigade is hunkered down in the eastern side of Blankenfelde, and their 1st Brigade is faltering. Right, let's get into turn 11. It's 1400. Okay, turn 11. Corps orders, French first. They've got all but the red. And now for the Prussians. Again, all but the red. Now we will roll for ADC availability. So ADC availability for the French. Let's see what we got here. It looks like we've got all 4. We've got 4, 3, 3. Now we'll roll for the Prussians. The 13th Division will only have 2 ADCs because they've just lost one of their brigades. Okay, so they've got 2, 2, and 1. So let's roll for activation. We'll do the French 20th Division first. We'll start off with the 1st Brigade, and they have a forwards tasking and a re-roll. And a re-roll. And they've passed. This next brigade here has nothing, and they've passed. And then the bold brigade has a skirmisher tasking. And, well, they've passed. Okay, now we're looking at the 22nd Division. The Swiss here, we'll go with these guys first. They've got glory and re-roll. 4, that's a pass. These guys are going to go just with skirmishing. No re-roll, just a straight up skirmishing task, and they've passed. So let's go down to the 29th Division now. Both these divisions are going with skirmishers. They've got a re-roll. They've got a re-roll, and they've passed. And this guy is bold, and he's passed. So both of them. So no hesitant brigades for the French whatsoever. So the 12th Division, they've got 2 ADCs. They're using both. Go stand with me, so they will automatically rally. Which means this guy gets nothing, and he's gone hesitant. 11th Division, they had 2 ADCs, but they lost one straight away to shore up divisional morale because of this faltering brigade. So this one here has no taskings, and he's gone hesitant. We'll do the guy, the Russians. They've got nothing, and they're fine. And now we have the bold guy. We'll roll for him, but he does have a re-roll. He'll take the higher of the 2, 5, which is a rally to faltering. Sorry, a rally to hesitant. And that's them done. And that just leaves one more 2nd Brigade, 13th Division. And they've passed. They have a re-roll, and they're good. but they do have 2 hesitant brigades. So the Prussians will be rolling 3 dice, the French will be rolling 2. Prussians are black. 7 plays 6. The French have the initiative on turn 11. Okay, so we're going to go with maximum effort here. Charges. This battalion here is going to charge the guns. This battalion is going to do an oblique to charge that battalion there. And then these guys are going to charge them. It's all very, very risky, but that's what we're going with. So it's 2d6 plus 6 for these guys' movement. Okay, 6 plus 6 plus 9. There's plenty of movement there. And they're charging directly towards the battery here. All right, so they're going to be catching it. Okay, so the battery's going to get the black dice. They're going to get 2 dice red for canister, and they're going to get 1 dice green because it's a column that they're shooting at. 9 is 2 hits, and they've got 1 other, so that's 3 all up. And a discipline test. So they've got 3 hits on them, so they're going to be rolling an extra die. Let's put the 3 there to remind us that they've got 3 hits. Now they've got to do a discipline test. They are reservists in column, so they'll roll 1 level higher. They get a promotion. Yeah, 8. Regardless, they would have passed. So now we will resolve the charge. The French will be rolling 3 dice. The Prussians are going to be rolling 2. Nine plays 5. So that's a difference of 4. Lead unit withdraws, takes 1 CD's worth of casualties. All right, so 1 CD's worth of casualties. So they've got 4 casualties to show for that, and they'll be sent back. So they've been sent tumbling back from here. They're now back here with their 4 casualties. Let's move on to the next charge. So I was going to do this one next. That you can charge it in oblique, and they could charge them. But what I'll do is to strip away their support. These guys are going to be charging them. So we'll do them first. And then these guys. So this charge in first. So this guy, this battalion here, charging them. They'll go in, they'll wheel. And then go forward. Now they're virtually at 3 inches as is. So the battery can fire in support of them. So the battery will fire just like before. It's going to be black for the battery, and then they'll have 3 CDs for the column and canister. All right, that one is cocked. So I'm going to roll it again. Being very generous here. That's a 2 now. Okay, so they've hurt themselves. And they've got 2 hits on them, and that's it. So that'll take them up to 8, and this will put a casualty on the battery. Right. Now the question here is, what kind of volley would these guys give to them? It's 45 degrees. They can get it over half. It's supposed to be at full, but once you go beyond it's obstructed by these guys here, and they've got their own friends there, so I guess it would be just a single CD. That's what I'm going to go with anyway. Not 100% sure if that's correct, but that's what I'm going with. But they do get another hit. But that will drop them, because that's 3 casualties all up. So they're now up to 9. All right, so now we resolve the charge. 2 dice, black, and the Anhalts will roll 3 and take the lower 2. So same as before, essentially. Okay. it's 8 to 5. So it's a difference of 3. So we're back again. It's withdraw, take 1 CD casualties. So we'll have another hit at them, and that's another one. So they're now up to 10. But these guys aren't reservists. They can take 12, but that will send them back to here. The next charge is these guys here. They're going to oblique into them. They will only be able to fire with a single CD because over half of the front of their battery, of their firing line, is covered by that battery. Right, so it's a single CD. 1 hit on these guys. That's not going to make any change, any difference. I will mark them with a hit on them, however, to remind us. And so now we do the charge resolution, and it's 2 dice each. As simple as that. Prussians are black, as usual. It's 8v7. So they've won by 1. So these guys will halt and deliver a single shot with a single CD. So none of these charges have come off. They haven't even hit anything. So that's all the charges on this division taken care of. So the 13th Division holds as they're charged by 3 different battalions from the 20th. Next charge is here. They will fire a inferior volley because they're unformed from the last turn when they were burst through by their friends. They're already at 3 inches, so we'll do that now. Okay, get a CD. Okay, so that's going to be 1 hit. That will take them up to 6, so that will make them worn. Now we'll roll to see if they hit. The French are rolling 3 and taking the lower 2. The Prussians are rolling 3 and taking the lower 2. No one has supports. So the lower 2 for the is going to be 5, and for these guys it's going to be 8. So they're going to close with Elan and Glory. The skirmishers, I guess they could shoot at them, but what difference would it make? The other thing is, I'm pretty sure if they do shoot, they won't be able to do anything else, and then they really need to get out of dodge. So, and they are close to target as well, so there's that. So I think it would be safer for them not to do anything at this stage. So these guys are going to close. They'll be fighting with Elan, and they have the they also have Glory. So in they go. Now I had contemplated putting in some charges over here, but on reflection, I've decided it's probably better if the Saxons and Poles get into a shooting match. So that's all the charges. There are no charges from the Prussians, so we'll go on to movement. We'll start with the French. Should mention the Prussians had actually 3 Hessian brigades. They did use their blue corps order to ride the line. So the corps commander came out, he did the whole ride the line thing, and this brigade that was hesitant isn't. So that's what happened. But they still had 2 Hessian brigades anyway. They had the one over here, and they had the one that rallied from faltering to hesitant. So yeah, they would still have rolled 3 dice. That it made no difference to the initiative roll. That's why these guys aren't hesitant, because of the ride the line. So looking at the French movement, we're going to start on the French right flank and work our way across. The artillery battery limbered up. This battalion has wheeled to their left. This battalion has reordered. They've advanced on to their left. They've formed line. The skirmish screen has sidestepped in this direction. For this brigade, The skirmish order was used for the light battalion to reinforce the skirmish line, so they've added 4 bases into the skirmish line there. And these 3 battalions have simply advanced into the woods, driving the Prussian Fusilier battalion in the woods back because they are in skirmish order. Looking now at the 22nd Division, which is the Swiss-French division. The French brigade, these guys have formed line facing to their right. This column has advanced slightly to the rear of these guys engaged in hand-to-hand combat. And the Swiss battalion, they've really done nothing other than their skirmish line has shuffled all the way across to unmask the guns. For the 20th Division, 1st Brigade, they've simply formed line, and the battalion that was here has reordered. These guys went unformed this turn, so they can't do anything. These guys were unformed the last turn, so now they've reordered. They were unformed this turn, as were they. This battalion has simply formed line, and in the movement phase, the regimental artillery has been brought up to the flank of this battalion here to give fire. And you might just make it out, but the Württembergers that were in the woods, that brigade skirmish line has moved out and is covering the division's right flank, and it's going to pour fire onto the right flank of the Prussian 11th Division. So Prussian movement. On this flank, they've really done nothing. They're in a pretty good position as they are. So there's really nothing to talk about except maybe a bit of reordering that was done. So they're all in good order now. Let's go look at the Prussian 11th Division. The 11th Division, the Russians, their 3rd Brigade, they've moved up. The brigade skirmish line is already at 3 inches, so they're holding their position there, and they'll exchange shots with the Württembergers. These guys reordered, but they can't. No one can advance because they're hesitant in this 2nd Brigade, and the 3rd Brigade, they reordered here, and other than that, everyone's waiting to see how this hand-to-hand combat plays out. These guys have reordered, as have these Frenchmen, because I don't think I mentioned the fact that they had reordered in the movement phase. So these 2 units that had murdered each other last turn are reordering to do it again. Looking at the Prussian 12th Division, the brigade skirmish line that was out here from their 2nd Brigade that was reduced to 2 bases has just simply been recalled. I've got the bases there for the time being, but obviously they're not there. They don't move that fast. They've been just brought in and returned to their parent battalions. This Hessen Brigade can't really do anything other than the fact that there was 3 bases of skirmishers here, and they've moved over to support the flank of this Fusilier or Schützen battalion that's in the woods. Other than that, no other movement. Shooting now all the way down on the French right flank with the 29th Division. So we're going to start with the shooting here, and we'll start with the skirmishers, and we're going to concern ourselves with the 2 brigade skirmish lines that are just in here. Okay, so we've got these guys have the skirmish tasking, so they're going to generate 7 dice. These guys, 7 bases, they're going to generate 8. So these guys will roll the black dice, these guys will roll the red. Okay, so we've got 1, 2 hits from these guys, and 1, 2, 3. So a grand total of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They were firing wholly at these guys. They might have to give some to these. Let's have a look here. Well, this brigade skirmish line has been shooting at this battery in the past. There is more of the battery to their front than them, so, and they're closer. So all of their hits are going to go on these guys, and their hits are going to go on them. Now they did roll double 6, but they had a skirmish tasking, but that was to reinforce the skirmish line. I don't know if that causes a discipline test. I'll check. But regardless, these guys are now up to 9 casualties, and these guys are now on 4. Okay, so the next lot of skirmish fire will be coming from these guys. They have a skirmish tasking, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'll be shooting at these guys here, and then the Württembergers, they'll also shoot at them, but their first hit will have to go on the brigade skirmish screen. So the Wurtembergers will be the black dice. Actually, they're going to shoot just at the brigade skirmish screen. The Swiss will shoot at the Prussian line. The Swiss are the black dice. That 3 is cocked, so we're going to have to roll that one again, and we missed one of the red. Okay, so what do we have there? So that resulted in 2 hits on these guys, 2 hits on them, which removes a base. So now that we're down here, we'll turn fire, and these chaps will be shooting back with 4 dice. One hit, no casualties. Now this brigade skirmish line will shoot at those French in the woods. So it's 5 dice. They all hit, so that's 2 casualties. That's gonna hurt. And that could be really dangerous for them now. Now these Fusiliers in the woods, they generate 5 dice, but they are shooting at troops in cover, so they'll be down to 4. Well, I've rolled 5 for them. Not that it made any difference. They still only got 1 single hit, which is not enough. So it's these guys here shooting out. It's normally 5, but they're shooting through woods, so that's going to be down to 4, and I'll get 3 here. So 4 and 3, they'll be the black dice, they'll be the red. 2 hits and 3 hits. So it's 2 casualties all up. There was no skirmish tasking, so no testing there. So these guys will go up to 5 casualties, and that's skirmisher fire done. So now we'll go on to artillery. Okay, so the only artillery shot we have is for these guys here, and they're going to be shooting all the way down to these guys here. So it's going to be a long range shot. Whoa, okay, 11. Inferior shot, 11. Inferior battery, it's 2. And a discipline test. 9 casualties. They're testing as enfant pedant. 8, I think they will go unformed. Let's have a look. Discipline test. Enfant pedant. Yes, unformed. Right. So lucky. Battery to fire will be these guys shooting through to them. Again, it's a long range shot, so it'll be an inferior battery. Oh. 8. So that's going to be 1 casualty, I think. Inferior battery, rolling an 8, 1. That just leaves the regimental artillery. Just simply 3 CDs at this battery here. And they've got 2 hits. Now we have the artillery here, but they're hesitant, so they've got no legitimate targets. The battery on the right with the 13th Division is already fired. That just leaves the Russian horse artillery 12th Division. They're also hesitant. They can't fire straight ahead. It's only going to be a single CD. They're worn, and they're shooting at skirmishes. So we'll roll the single CD for them. And they didn't hit anything. That is all the artillery fire done. Now volley to be traded. These guys with them and these guys with them both are going to be inferior volleys because they're worn and they're shooting into troops in cover. Prussians are black. 5 each. So that's going to be 1 hit each. So these guys will go up to 3. And the guys in the woods will go up to 11. So they're 1 off being dispersed. Obviously, they're going to be getting out of dodge if they can. Now we just have the hand-to-hand result. So we have this hand-to-hand in here. The French are worn, but they have glory. So that's 5 down to 4, and they have a land, so that's going to be 6. These guys are unformed, so they're 5 down to 4. So it's 6 v 4. French are red. No hits by... Absolutely no hits by the Prussians, and only 2 hits by the French. So they sort of like went nah, at each other. But it was enough to give 2 hits to these guys. So that'll take them up to 3. And they will retreat, and these guys can take the ground. They've gotten their full 18 inches back from here, and this is where they are after that. The French have not advanced to take the ground. They're quite happy where they are. Actually, they might as well, actually. Because those skirmishers will be driven back. They have to give ground to maintain their 3 inches distance. And it does get them oh so closer to the enemy. Right, that ends turn 11. Turn 12, core orders for the French. They've got them all. And now the core orders for the Prussians. They can't actually get the blue, but they do have the other 3. They can't have the blue because they rode the line last. The availability for the French first, and we're adding in the red dice for the 21st Division because they have 2 infantry brigades and the Heavy Cavalry Brigade. Right, let's see what they get. Okay, so they've got 5, they've got 4. Well, the Poles got absolutely nothing, but the Swiss French have got 2. So 4, 4, 2, and nothing for the Poles. Right, now we'll roll for the Prussians. Right, they've got 3 for the 11th, 2 for the 12th, and 2 for the 13th. ADC allocation. They're going to use the core ADC tasking and give an extra ADC to this brigade. They had 2, so now they've got 3. Reroll and reroll plus skirmish. Now if we go down to the 11th Division, they had 4 ADCs. They're going for a reroll. They're going for infantry assault because they want to throw these guys at them. They won't make it if they just go with normal movement. Infantry assault will give them an extra 3 inches, which will get them there. But obviously, there's no one going to be able to support them. And then the big call is post of honor here. With the plan is to launch this battalion. They can't launch this one because they can't charge through their own skirmishes. So they're going to launch this battalion to try burst through these skirmishes and attack this line battalion here. Moving along, we finally come to the 13th Division, and they're going all in with their 2 ADCs, post of honor, and they're going to launch this battalion into these guys. They'll have to incline to get through them, so they don't pass through them. These guys might... Oh, well, they haven't got... they have got 3 ADCs, so they could go infantry assault and bring them along as well. So they'll probably do that. So it'll be infantry assault and post of honor here. So now we'll do the French. They're 20th Division. They're going with a reroll with this brigade. Now's your time with this brigade here, and skirmish with the German brigade over here. With this brigade, they have 2 ADCs. They're just going to go with artillery assault, no reroll, and nothing here. The Poles have no ADCs, so there's nothing to go with these guys here. We could use the core ADC, but instead we're going to use the core ADC for an increased forwards movement, with the off-table division that has 5 ADCs. They've got 3 brigades, and they're giving re-rolls to each of their brigades, plus, well, they've just got 2 spares that they just can't use. So that's what they're going to go with their re-roll on all their brigades. So we're going to start with the 12th Division. The brigade to the left has re-roll with skirmish. They're fine, and this brigade just has a re-roll. They'll need it. And they've gone hesitant. Now let's go to the 11th Division. Obviously, they're using posts of honor, so they're good. Just a re-roll here. They're fine. And infantry assault. Now this guy is bold, and he's fine, so they've got that. And then obviously the 13th Division, their only brigade, is also obeying orders. So they have 1 hesitant brigade. Okay, so the bold brigade commander here, he's just bold. He's got no re-roll, but he doesn't need it. The Pole, he's got nothing going for him, and he's passed. So they're all obeying orders. Here we have no re-roll here, no re-roll here, but they're going with artillery assault. So we'll do the Swiss first, and he's got the artillery assault. Then we'll do the French. It's rolled a 4, so he's at good as well. So this guy here's got a re-roll. He needs it, and he's gone hesitant. So they have 1 hesitant so far. Stand with me, he automatically obeys, and the bold guy has skirmish. And he's so now fine. The off-table 21st Division that's coming on. The infantry brigade, they've got a re-roll. So that's the 1st infantry brigade's good. The 2nd infantry brigade, got a re-roll. They're good. And the cavalry brigade, they're good. So they're all obeying orders. That leaves 2 ADC taskings left. One of them is going to be used for scouts. So ultimately what that's going to give us is both sides are going to have 2 dice each, and both sides are going to have 1 re-roll. The Prussians are black, the French are red. They'll re-roll the 1. Well, the French don't need to re-roll, but they will anyway, and there it is. The French have the initiative again. Okay, so a bit of an aerial view. So over here we have the 29th Division, Saxons, some Poles, predominantly Saxons. From the French perspective, we then come to the 22nd Division. So we have the French Brigade and the Swiss Brigade here. And then if we keep moving across, we come to over here, we have the 20th Division. And they're really pushing hard against the Prussian 13th Division. Over here, we have the Prussian 11th Division, and then over here we have the Prussian 12th Division. Okay, charge declarations. The French have the initiative. They want to spoil the party. They're using now's your time, so they'll recover a CD from each unit. So they'll go down to 0, they'll go down to 4, and then they're going to fire from here at them and then charge. So it'll be 3 CDs, and in they go. So they've hit with 2. So that's 2 casualties on them, and then they'll respond. They'll fire back. The black dice is their volley, red dice is their CD for the square. It's going to be an inferior because they do have this unit partially to their front. The plan was to oblique through. 3, they've lost fire discipline and they didn't get a hit. Right, so in they go. The French will have 2 dice, no re-rolls. The Prussians will have 2 dice and they will get 1 re-roll for these guys here. Post of Honor also gives them a re-roll as well, if I'm not mistaken. Mind you, they didn't get to 5. Okay, so 8. Wow, the French have rolled really well. They've got an 11. They've got a re-roll for these guys here, so they'll re-roll the 3, 5, 10. All right. They'd be crazy to re-roll a 5, so it's going to be 10 versus 11. These guys will go in, and they will combat with Elan. These guys will have double glory, so that's going to be interesting. So the French are going to launch a charge with these guys here. They've got their dander up, and so they're going to charge these chaps. They'll get skirmish fire from them, and then an inferior volley from these guys. So they'll go forward. We'll do the shooting, and we'll see how that plays out. It's 5 CDs from the brigade skirmish line, and it's a single CD from. It's a weak volley from the Prussian line because they are unformed and worn. So it's going to be. The black dice will be the brigade skirmish line, obvious. The blue dice is the weak CD. Nothing from the brigade skirmish line, a single hit. So that's going to have no effect on the charge resolution. So now we roll the dice. So he's obviously up to 7. We'll mark that momentarily. So the French are going to have 2 dice, and they'll take what they get. Actually, they're worn, so they'll be rolling 3 and taking the lower 2. And the Prussians are going to roll 4 and take the lower 2 because they are worn and unformed. Okay, so the French are the red. The lower 2 puts them on an 8. The lower 2 puts them on a 7. So that's interesting. So they will go in and combat with alarm. So the next charge we have is this column charging the skirmishers. This is just clearly to drive them off. They will simply go forward. The skirmishers will simply evade and shoot. So they'll be firing 4 dice because normally it's 5, but they are shooting at troops in cover. So it will be 4 in this particular scenario. And then they'll scoot back to behind the BUA. And they've got only 1 hit, which is nothing. And these chaps will move 4.5 inches forward. We'll get to throw a CD at the Prussians as they skedaddle. 3 is a miss, so they didn't get anything on them. Next charge is going to be with some Saxon. The same situation applies. They're charging towards them. That will cause them just simply to evade away. Same here. So they're just pushing in and trying to push these skirmishers back. So it's 4 dice for these guys here. They get 1 hit on them, so that takes them up to 6. And 3 dice from the skirmishers. And another 1 hit, so that will take them up to 7. So it's been painful, but they will drive these guys back, and they will move into the edge of the woods. We'll get a CD at each of the units. So the light infantry battalion, the Schutzen, nothing, and the skirmishers, yeah, they got 1 on them. But they are now currently at 7 casualties. I did just notice they did have a skirmish task, so they will get another 2 dice at these guys. And it's another hit, so they're actually up to 8. Now the Russian charges. This battalion here has a forwards tasking, so it's 9 inches plus 6, that's 15, plus lots. Okay, so they're going to make it to these. These guys are just going to have to turn to face. These guys will shoot at them as they come through because they will have to pass through them. At this point here, they react. I've already turned them to face. So it's going to be 8 dice because they've got the skirmish tasking. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. But it is a double 6 there. So it's going to be 1 casualty. That's not enough to halt them, but the discipline test might have an effect. So let's have a look. 5. All right, so they'll go unformed, but they can continue to charge. Right. Okay, so they'll get 1 re-roll. Sorry, they'll get no re-rolls. They've got no re-rolls. They'll take 2 dice. They'll take 3, taking the lower 1 because they're unformed. They've got 8. These guys have got 4. So that is a lead charge unit withdraws results and suffers 1 CD. So we'll take the CD on them now. Nothing. They do get a CD at these guys, so I better roll that. So they do take a base off the skirmishers. Whoop-de-doo. but they'll have to go back 18 inches. So that was rather anticlimactic. Withdrawn all the way back to here. There's no risk to general because it was a withdrawal result, not a retreat. So the next charge will be these guys here. So these guys here will move to the 3-inch. They'll deliver a volley and then we'll resolve the charge. So it's just a inferior volley. 7. That's not going to stop them. I think it might be just 1 casualty. And now we will resolve the charge. The French are rolling 3. The Prussians are rolling 2. They take what they take. The French will take the lower 2. Oh, jeez. All right. Again, the Prussians have done very poorly. 5. The lower 2 is a 6, and so that's an 11. So that's a difference of 6, and that is a broken result. Let's just check. Broken. Defender stands. Broken. The lead charge unit takes 4 CDs and retreats. There are no supports, so they'll take 4 CDs. Just 1 hit. So 2 hits all up, so that takes them up to a grand total of 5 casualties. Now back here with a retreat marker. Yeah, it's just all going to clag here for the Prussians at the moment. Okay, French right flank, the French right flank, the 29th Division, the 1st Brigade. Their brigade skirmish line has shuffled across. They've had to drop back because they couldn't all fit in. And these 3 battalions are advancing, as is the foot artillery. The 2nd Brigade, which is the more Saxons, but they do have a Polish battalion attached, they have simply gone forward slightly with this battalion here, and all their light infantry advanced to within the 3-inch mark, because in all probability these guys are going to retire. Right, let's go to the centre. These battalions have basically just aligned. They can't move because they were involved in a charge, so they're just there with their 11 casualties. They are probably going to falter. That's why these guys need to keep a stand with me with them. The Swiss have retrograded these 2 battalions 4.5 inches back. This battalion that was in line has done a retire to the 2nd line, so they're now marked with a retreat marker, and the skirmishers have moved back so that they're within 18 inches of the nearest closest formed unit. Moving to the French left. These units here have basically stepped back so they avoid bounce through. The other units that were all unformed, there was a lot of unformed units, they're simply reformed, and that is it on the French left flank. So now we'll go to Prussian movement. Okay, for Prussian movement, we're going to start looking at the 11th Division in the Prussian centre first. The 3rd Brigade, these Russian battalions here, here, and here have come up either side of this unit that was driven back from the charge, and the 2 batteries have simply moved forward. They haven't unlimbered yet because, quite frankly, there's nowhere for them. There's no clear field of fire, and staying here limbered is as good a place as any at this point. This unit retreated during the charge phase, so they can't do anything at the moment. The rest have just either reordered. This battalion of Fusiliers actually belongs with these 2 battalions over here, and so they've been driven back and they're in here, and this brigade skirmish screen actually belongs to this brigade over here, so they have become somewhat intermingled. These guys have simply reordered. So now let's have a look at the Prussian left flank. Slight amendment. This Fusilier battalion that belongs to the 1st Brigade is moved forward slightly. They can get a single CD into these guys over here, and that might be enough to break them because they're on 11. 1 shot will be enough to drive them away, like destroy them and falter that French brigade. As for their left flank, this brigade here, consisting of this battalion, this one, these guys here, these guys have simply reoriented and are facing the threat there. The Hessian Brigade, the battery that was up here, they did have a caisson allocated to them at the start of the term, but because they went hesitant, they couldn't use it, therefore they can't remove the casualties. So they've done an emergency limber withdrawal, and they're back here with a retreat marker on them. And this battalion is simply formed line. Other than that, they're just sitting pretty, nothing else going on. So we'll just quickly now look at the 12th Division, the Lucky 13th Division on the Prussian right flank. On the Prussian right flank, the 13th Division, they've basically done nothing. They're either been involved in charges or where they are is as good as it's going to get for them at this point. So with the end, the conclusion of all the Prussian movement, we'll now go to reserve movement. We're going to roll for the bonus movement. So it's 2d6, so that's 8, plus 12, that's 20, plus their normal movement, whatever that may be. And if we give it to the cavalry, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be, what, 37? Bonus movement was given to the Cavalry Brigade, so 38 inches movement for them, which obviously from the edge of the table here to where they've got to, with plenty to spare. So their horse artillery came on, leading the charge, and they've deployed there because horse artillery can move and deploy. And then the Saxon cavalry have come up, and their French cuirassiers. So that's that brigade there with their brigade commander. Then the 2 infantry brigades have come on from the 21st Infantry Division, and we have one here and we have one here. So that is basically all the movement done now, and so now we'll go on to shooting, and we'll start with the French skirmishers. We're going to start with skirmish fire, and we're going to start with these Saxons here from the 29th Division. The red dice will be the brigade skirmish line on the right. 1, 2, so that's one hit and nothing. It's just one hit. That is abysmal shooting, and it doesn't warn these guys down. It doesn't wear these guys down. It was all the French skirmishing, French or Saxon skirmishing that we could do. So now we're going to start with the Prussians, and the garrisons will fire out. They've got 5 dice and they're shooting at this brigade skirmish line here. I've rolled only 4 dice, so we need 5. And they get 2 hits, which will remove a base. Next lot of skirmishers are these guys here. 4 dice at these buzzburgers. 1 single hit, so that's nothing. So that's all the skirmishing done. The battery that the French have got to fire is this battery here. These guys there, they've got artillery assault. It's at long range. So the red dice is the battery, the blacks are the CDs. 7's going to be 1 hit, and that is another hit. So that's going to be 2 hits on that line battalion. That'll take them up to 5 casualties. Now this battery will fire a canister at them, get bounced through into these. So black will be the battery, red is the canister, green for shooting at a column, and blue for the bounce through. So 7 is going to be, well, no hits there, no hits there, no hits. They did get a bounce through. That'll take them up to 8. And 7, if I'm not mistaken, for a battery is going to be 1 and a discipline test. Pretty ineffective and shitty firing. Oh, pardon my French. Discipline test. They're enthusiastic, so yeah, 9, not a problem. They shrugged it off. But they do have a casualty on them, so we'll put that there. Right, now we just have the Austrian battery shooting at the Wasburgers range. So black is the battery. 5 is going to be 1 hit and nothing and nothing. Again, pretty ordinary shooting. They will get bounced through onto the skirmishers to the rear. And again, they've rolled 1. That is atrocious shooting. It's almost as bad as what the French have been doing. So 1 casualty here. They will have to do a discipline test, however. 5, and they go unformed. Okay, so this battery's shooting now. There's a multitude of different targets to choose from, but they're going to go canister into these guys. It'll be inferior because they're shooting at troops in cover, but if they can take care of them, they will falter the brigade. So black is the battery. Okay, 6. Well, that's going to be enough. There's a hit there, and there's a hit there. That will destroy them, and that will falter that French brigade.
Just one volley to deliver, which is this one here. These guys were really hoping they would reduce them so they would only be firing a weak volley, but they just didn't do enough execution. So as a consequence, it's going to be an inferior volley because they're shooting at skirmishes. 6, well, they've got off lightly.
6 is only going to be a single casualty.
Going to hand-to-hand combat. There's 2 melees to resolve. We'll do this one first. Normally they're at 5, but they're worn, so they're down to 4, but they do have a lance, so they're up to 6. These guys are reservists. They're worn, so they're down to 4, and they're unformed, so they're down to 3. So it's 5 plays 3. Well, they've gone down swinging. They've inflicted 3 hits, but they've taken 2 of their own, which is enough to destroy these. So it's a Pyrrhic victory of sorts. 6, and these guys are up to 10, so they're really taking a beating also. So with the loss of that battalion, over half, because that's 2 infantry battalions plus the battery gone from that 1st brigade, that just leaves the Fusilier battalion and the battalion that was back here. So over 50% of the brigade is gone. That causes that brigade to disperse, which means this divisional commander will lose one of his ADCs and he'll go down to 3. Right, one more combat. Okay, so both sides start with a base of 5. These are unformed, so they go down to 4, but they are got a post of honor, so they back up to 6. These guys are recruits, so if they were formed, they would get another dice, but they're unformed, so they don't. So they're 6. These guys are recruits in column. They have a LAN, so they're 5 with a LAN up to 6. So it's 6 each. Like I said, French are red, Prussians are black. What have we got? What have we got? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits by the French, 3 hits by the Prussians. Okay, so they have lost that. Now we have to see if the CNC, because he was attached and he's lost, so it's a risk to general. And he's okay. Right, so let's do a summary of where we're at the end of turn 12. Okay, so the French have a faltering brigade here. This brigade here, the 2 skirmishes that were here, because the brigade faltered, they're gone. Of particular concern, however, for that French brigade is both of these batteries here belong to them. So thank goodness we've kept a CNC tasking back for them, because if they can get 2 ADCs, then they will go stand with me. Otherwise, it's going to come down to a dice roll. Right, let's look at the rest of the battlefield. Over here we have the 20th Division. They're in fine fettle, generally speaking, and they've just driven back a battalion from the Prussian 13th Division. The Prussian 13th Division is reduced to just simply 1 brigade. The Prussian 11th Division, they've got 1 brigade in the center here. They've lost 1 brigade, but they do have the Russian brigade that's coming up. And the Prussian 12th Division, they have the brigade that's defending this built-up area here, and they've got this battalion, and that battalion, and this battalion here from their 1st brigade. Their 2nd brigade consists of this battalion, 2 at the rear, and the garrison. The battery that was with these guys has been withdrawn because it is very, very close to breaking or dispersing. It's only got 1 hit point left, but they had a case on up their sleeve, so they've got that going for them. The Saxon Polish 29th Division, 1 brigade here, 1 brigade here, pushing forward. This battalion's got 7 casualties, this battalion's got 8, but these 2 are in pretty good shape, and these battalions here, plus the Poles, are in excellent condition, with the Poles just carrying 2 casualties. All this artillery here is pretty much out of range of anything, so they're going to have to limber up and get moving, I guess. And then we have the Italian 21st Division with the attached cavalry brigade. These battalions are coming up here, and the whole intent was to conduct a passage of lines
with the 22nd Division, which has a Falchion Brigade, as I stated, and this Swiss Brigade here that is really, really shot to shreds and in a bad state, unfit for pretty much anything. So these two brigades of infantry are going to come up. This cavalry is poised here, and it's all to play for. So with that, let's wrap it up. Okay, so it's now 1500 hours on the 28th of August, 1813. Steve's battle is still going on. It seems to be going well from the reports that I'm getting from couriers, and the French are really starting to dominate here now. If you've got any tactical suggestions for the Prussians, or the French for that matter, please by all means put them in the comment section below. This video has already gone for well over 2 hours, so I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will put up another video, and that will pretty much be the conclusion of this battle, I think. Steve might play beyond 1500 hours on his table, and so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Just a reminder, these tables that we're fighting on, they're not side by side. The Grossbeeren battlefield is here, and my battlefield is about like that. So, like I said, it is 1500 hours now on the 28th on this table here now. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and I will catch you on the next one. You're great.